Okay, folks, I'm back on here, and hopefully everybody's still here. This is the broadcast for the Professional Chess League. We're on YouTube, and we're doing the San Diego Surfers broadcast. I'm International Master John Watson, and this is the San Diego Surfers versus the Las Vegas Desert Rats. And as I just mentioned earlier, the first board is Alexei Dreyev is white against Caden Troff. Keaton Kira is white against Zbigniew Pakleza. Joshua Sheng is black against Elliot Liu, and our Craig Hilby is black against Alberto Hernandez. And I'm expecting these boards to just pop up because I'm following them. Aha! Look at that. There we go. So there's versus Caden Troff. There we go. There's Alexei Dreyev. I hope everybody's getting this. I guess there's a little delay for you guys. But and there's the Keaton game. Keaton played d4 in Mortal Technique. So I'm going to need everybody. I've got some very strong viewers, so I probably won't do a lot of real elementary talk, but I'm hoping to kind of give a little bit of explanation. One of the games was just aborted. That's not good. That was Josh's game. That hopefully was some sort of mistake. The game was aborted by the server, and I have no idea why that happened. I don't think that has anything to do with, that's not my fault. You can see that now on the screen there. That's just a technical mistake. I'm sure they'll fix that. Uh-oh. Yeah, again, it says game aborted. Let me go to one of the other games that's going on here. Keaton. Okay, well, and we can even talk about this already. It's a Slav defense exchange variation. Whoa, look at this. Things are just popping back and forth here. Oh, that's because they keep trying to start that aborted game. So I'm there. It's clicking off for me. Okay, this is the Keaton and Benolius. That's the Pakleva game, which was it's like taking over because I'm following that. Maybe I should unfollow this game. I wonder if I should unfollow that game. Are we back on the Keaton game? We are, indeed. Okay, here we go. So that game, just to show you, if I can show you real fast, was a... yeah, I don't know. This Jay Josu game keeps jumping up and taking over, so I'm going to have to get rid of that. Let's take a look at Dreyev's game, which was a Grunfeld, well, c6 Grunfeld with Queen b3. I think you'll all see how that goes. You can probably see this. I can go back a few moves. Hopefully they'll slow down and we can review the opening really fast. Okay, here we go. So this is the Dreyev game. These moves have been played a lot. I don't know about rook e1. I'm already out of book for myself. White wants to play e4, obviously. And probably Melik knows this opening. I don't know it offhand, but it looks like just a normal game. White has a central majority. Black has some dynamic piece play. I'm sure they're in book. Let's check out Keaton's game. That other game is starting again. There's Keaton's game again. Now, if we can get to that, that'd be very nice to get to the beginning of that game and simply play through the moves. Okay, so it was a Slav defense. There we go. Exchange Slav with knight e5. That's an interesting move. I don't know that move. I'm not a big exchange Slav guy. And it's interesting because black has the central majority. I'm not sure. White is breaking with e4, presumably. Okay, and the problem we're having here is I keep getting interrupted by this Immortal Technique Jay Josu game, which keeps getting aborted. And for some reason, that I'm not allowed to. Maybe I can unfollow one of my friends here. I will unfollow Josh. I can always get back to his games. Let me do that. Let's see. Yeah, I think I took him off. That might help. From now on, we might not get that interruption. Hopefully, if we're lucky. Okay. Okay, there's okay, knight e4 to stop e4. This is in the Dreyev game. The usual technical issues, but we'll get there. This is going to be very exciting. I assume knight e4 is probably a book move. It looks like a very normal move. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on what's happening here. Please, on the chat, you can tell me whether you think something special is happening or what's going on. I love getting opinions. Okay, here we go, bishop f4. So he doesn't try to do anything less fancy like knight h4. Well, he can't really. He's probably going to put a rook on d1, and then clear out that center and start trying to advance in the center. I'm always prejudiced for white in these positions just offhand. Okay, there's the other game we've been looking at. Now there's a little bit of a slowdown here. Okay, here we go. So black's got a big center here. So I'm not sure what Keaton's doing here. I guess it's sort of Grunfeldish. Right now, it looks like black's got in the center without being punished. So I mean, there are rook c1 ideas. There's maybe e4 ideas, but I doubt it. Doesn't look like that's realistic. Or you can just double on the file and see what happens. Some sort of queen, what, maybe d2 kind of move. Rook c1 first, that makes sense. And I imagine we'll just see bishop e7 here, or rook c8. Right now white's threatening knight takes d5, presumably, unless there's a trick. So I'm kind of expecting something like a bishop e7, but I'm not sure. Not sure. Okay, so that's fun. Okay, we've got some games. We're actually starting to get into this. Now, where's our other game? I only see 2 games listed. We should have one more. Let me see if I can manually pick up that other game in the events column. The other game should be, let me just see, Craig Hilby's game, Nom Nom Factor. I don't know if that one has started. It should have started, of course, but maybe there's a technical thing going on. And the other thing is, for some reason, I may not be following Craig. Actually, I really don't see him on here. Not sure why. I'm looking at the list of all the games that are going on that are live, and he's not on there. So we seem to be missing 2 games. One because of the technical difficulties we're having. That's Josh's game. And the other is Craig's game, which apparently just hasn't started. And I don't know whose fault that is or what's going on there. Last week, all the games came popping right up. So we're just going to follow these 2 games. Well, they're 2 very top-level games, so let's just do that. Let's just have some fun with them. Going back to Keaton's game, for example. Okay, so black played rook c8. That's against this move, knight takes d5. You know, offhand, you'd think he'd be pretty comfortable as black here. You know, it's got the big center. Possibly white can try and pile up on the d-pawn. You know, just play queen d2 and rook d1, but that makes f2 less well protected. And on top of that, black can also put a rook on d8. So I'm not thrilled with what's going on for white here. Knight a4 presumably is met by bishop d6, is that right? Oh, here we go with the Josh game again, which I thought I had stopped following. Okay, now they're actually playing. Oh, good. Okay, now let's see if we can go back and not get thrown off. Okay, and now let's look at Alexei's game. Okay, so what happened here? Let's go back a couple moves. Boy, things are moving faster. So it was knight takes c3, b takes c3, bishop e6. That's a common standard move, trying to win the c4 square, obviously. Okay, now he's hitting a2 and he's covering a lot of dark squares. So black is getting, it looks like what he wants. He's attacking a2 and managing to cover a few of those central squares, including really covering c4. So now I guess the question is, maybe we're going to go into a long think here. Dreyev's going to go into a think about whether he can do something with a discovery, whether he has to, what is he going to do about that pawn on a2? He'd love to play e4 or a discovery with his knight, but first he has to think about what's going on the a2 pawn. He may simply have to go back to rook a1 and just defend it. The nice thing being that then if black starts breaking, there he goes. So he does play rook a1, and the nice thing about this is that c5 can't be played immediately because the discovery's on the queen. Okay, so what's going on here? Black's ready to put a piece on c4. White could play moves like knight e5, for example. It just seems like black's probably okay here. e4, okay, so that makes sense. And there isn't any real threat that I see, but so what? It does mean that if black breaks with c5, white can play d5, so of course e4 is a good move. It just takes me a second. I'm slow. Yeah, so c5 at least can be answered by d5, and then maybe a very quick e5 kind of move. But somehow I feel like black's probably reasonably happy here. The other thing white would like to do, maybe, is try to force a piece onto c4. A move like maybe knight d2 and bishop f1, that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe that's too negative. But a knight d2 b3 idea might be possible also. Okay, so anyway, that's very interesting. So he did play, but he just occupied that square straight off, so as not to ever allow c4 and bishop d2 and moves like that. So what should white do here, folks? We got any? Do we have any? All game started, absolutely. So I'll take kibitzing on the chat if you want to. It's a heavy positional struggle. White's got the center, but black has really nice squares, kind of typical Grunfeld-y kind of position. Knight e5's natural. What else is natural here? Knight d2 is pretty natural. There's no d5s or e5s. What else can white do? White can play an a4 move at some point just to restrict the movement of that queen. And, you know, that might not be so stupid, except there might be a queen a6 idea. And that might be okay, because then there's an a5. You know, a4 seems like it's a very tempting move somehow. It even allows the possibility that later on you might go bishop c1, a3 and have tactical tricks, as well as pressure. So I wonder about a4. That seems like a reasonable move to me, but that's just, I may be missing something. Queen a6 is a possible answer, but then a5, bishop d3, just move the queen somewhere. Okay, so let's go to Keaton's game. Take a quick look there. Now what's happened there? We were on, do you have that game now? Should have changed already. No, I hope you're getting this game. We had this position when we left, rook c8. Okay, and he did play bishop b6, so it was knight a4, bishop b6, queen takes. This is queen d2, so he's going to bring the other rook over. Queen f5. Okay, that's a move I didn't even consider what was happening. He might be trying to attack a little bit on the king's side. He's covering that e4 square. That's nice. Okay, now there's 3 pieces on d5, so he defends it, and then it gets attacked again. Now this is interesting because now d5 is pinned. He might have to play a move like e4 or bishop b4 or something. But I mean, knight takes d5 is actually a threat now. Am I right? I think. So black can play what? Bishop b4 and e4 are candidates. Anything else? Am I missing something obvious? Offhand, I don't see another move because d4 allows bishop takes b7. So my guess would be that even though e4 looks positionally a little suspect, it's probably a perfectly safe move to make because you always have bishop e5. Yeah, so he does play e4. There it goes. Now bishop e5 is an idea, so that's always going to defend things. On the other hand, I think white's happy to have at least defined the pawn structure. It's terrible when you've got those pawns side by side with sort of infinite potential. How does white play this? Maybe try to put a bishop on d4, like knight back to a4, and then bishop d4, e3. Is black threatening e3 in a case like that? Probably not. So, I mean, for example, knight a4, e3 you take with a queen, and then you can stick a bishop on d4 if you need it. So after knight a4, what is black going to do? Something like rook c8. I don't think bishop takes f6 is ever... Oh, okay, here we go. He's going to put his knight on d4. Very good. Excellent, Keaton. Yes, I should have mentioned knight e5, but I didn't. Excellent. Okay, so now is bishop d4 worth thinking about? And then bringing the knight back to c3? It's unclear. There's a lot to think about here. On the other hand, it's a fast game, so we really have to just keep making moves. Let's try going back to the Duraev game. One thing I learned last week is you have to keep zooming here because a lot can happen all at once. And in fact, a lot is happening here. Let's go back a few moves. He played bishop d5 instead of my a4. Black's trying to get the complete light square control. I imagine white will not exchange those. No, very good. He sidesteps there. He doesn't want to give a beautiful knight on a4. So black has a lot of squares on the queen side, but they maybe aren't doing that much. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so now black wants to play knight c4. And I imagine white's going to play something simple like knight e2, but he might get ambitious. He might try to get ambitious. Don't see how to be ambitious. Maybe Melixer has an idea here. Offhand, it seems like black's achieved what he wants to, but it's no big deal. Just a move like knight d2. White still has the center. There's always bishop f1 later, if need be. I don't think d5 is working because of knight c4. I don't think c4 is working because of knight c4. Yeah, it's sort of too bad white couldn't get that a4 move in because black seems to have enough control over the queen side to be fully equal here. My guess would be knight d2. But anyway, okay, so we're moving on to knight e5, same idea. little more aggressive, but it recovers the c4 square. The only difference is, theoretically, I suppose black could play f6 or something here. Maybe f6 is met by c4, little pawn sacrifice. Okay, back to Keaton's game, since I hear clicking noises going on. Oh, by the way, okay, how's the sound coming at knight b5, knight d4? Very good, and that's, thank you, Melissa, and that's exactly what he played. Very good. That was a while ago, but I didn't see that on the chat. I'm sort of trying to watch two screens and a monitor here. Thank you. So that happened. The knight d4 idea happened. Well, it's nice at least that white committed that pawn forward and got the nice outpost on d4. The bishop on g2 is pretty unimpressive, isn't it? For white, yeah. So now the bishop should probably come back to f1 at some point, but he's got to be a little careful about that because of the dark square, because of the light square weaknesses on the king side. You would think black would be thinking about something like, well, now if he plays knight g4, maybe there's bishop h3. Okay, so the standard move, idea of h4, but also when he does play knight g4 now, then bishop h3 doesn't require an immediate response. So the first idea is h4, just to loosen up the king side, and the second idea would be knight g4, thinking about going to e5, and not having to worry as much about bishop h3 because the pawn on h5 will protect it. Okay, so now defending the king side, threatening knight takes, bishop takes f6, and also thinking maybe about knight f4 sometimes. That's the idea of knight e2. Now black's going to play knight g4 probably. Oh, there's a pin. If knight g4, we have bishop takes e4. So that's a good thing. So maybe black's going to have to compromise here. Yes, and just protect the knight on f6, and that's what he did. So at this point, what is white trying to do? Black would love to play knight g4 now. That would be a really good move. So maybe either an h3, if you want to take a chance, or even take the knight on f6. Ooh, knight f4. Still thinking about playing knight, bishop takes f6 and knight takes d5. That seems like a slightly odd move to me. I don't know why. There's also the idea bishop takes f6 and knight takes h5. Okay, so this is tactically based. Now black can think about taking the knight on f4, but that's his good bishop. That leaves him with himself with a bad bishop. But he could still do that and then play rook d8. Yeah, rook d8 is a key move. The only problem here is that black has to be happy with bishop takes f6, and if queen takes, knight takes h5, just being greedy. So is there something wrong with that sequence? Bishop takes f6, I suppose. Pawn takes just looks kind of ridiculous. Knight takes h5, where does the queen go? I mean, black would have two bishops, and he'd be able to maneuver a bishop to sort of d3 or something, but you know, really that's, or maybe the move d4 would happen. But after knight takes h5, the queen needs a square first. I don't know, I would maybe risk bishop takes f6, but it's easy for me to say, they're not my pieces. Okay, so white instead attacks the bishop on b7. And has ideas of queen e7 in some lines too. Very good. So Keaton's looking good here. You know, there's another move here. This is bishop h3 move is interesting at some point, just to cause trouble. Okay, now at this point, queen e7 maybe doesn't do too much because of rook e8. What about that bishop takes f6 idea? Is that still in the cards? Maybe. Bishop h3. Bishop h3 could be answered by either. Okay, so he simply stops g5, or discourages g5. On the other hand, g5 is still a possible move, so is knight g4. What do we have? Any theories about who's doing well here? Oh, thanks about the sound, Kyron. Good. All right. Well, this is fun. We only have 2 games, though. You know, I think that other game never came up. Is that right? I'm looking at the events list, and I don't see Craig's game having ever come up. So I don't know if someone forfeited, like us or them. And then there's still the crazy game that they couldn't get to work, the Josh game. And that has, I'm not following that anymore. Maybe it's up again no, it's not on. It's not even on the list. So there was some technical issue there. So we still only have these 2 games, and my apologies for that. Maybe by round 2 we'll get everybody back. Well, there it is, Immortal Technique versus Joseph. It just came up again, so we'll see if it works. In other words, Josh's game is still sitting up there, and that's against Elliot Liu, FM Elliot Liu, who, by the way, was from San Diego. So that's kind of interesting. We've got the enemy playing against us here. Is our old friend Elliot, who grew up in San Diego and played in the San Diego Chess Club all the time. But he's on the wrong side. Okay, but that game hasn't started yet, apparently. So let's just go ahead and look at these games. This is the Keaton game. We've got the H4. Let's go back to this game. Way behind. Sorry. Let's go back. It's hard to get used to doing this when you do normal ICC broadcasts because the time controls are so fast and things move so quickly. Let's go back and see what's been going on here. So after King G7, there's only been a few moves, but they've been important moves. Rook back. Okay, so now he wants to play Knight G4 and Queen H6. And he does it. He goes ahead. He's playing. I don't know if he's playing for cheapos or if these are good moves, but they look interesting. And now the knight comes back to E3 centralized. Yeah, it does look like Black's king's pretty safe, but it's nice to have him loosened up a little bit. And moves like, I think he's going to have to play. Probably going to have to play knight takes E3 at some point, is my guess, because that could become a pretty important attacking piece. Yes, he's at Columbia. Oh, Abhinav, yeah. Yeah, we have to know if Chiron has met Abhinav, but in the meantime, I have to be responsible and continue looking at this stuff. Queen A3, interesting. So that attacks C3. He's just saying, look, you don't have enough pieces over there on the king side to bother me. I do wonder about yeah, E5, the idea of bishop E4 and E6. E6 is a threat now. And if Black plays E6, then we go back to playing things like bishop E4, maybe. Yeah, I mean, why not? This is kind of fun. Just put a little pressure on. Queen A3 is a kind of a daring move. I suspect Queen C3 is very risky now. He might play it anyway, but it looks very, very, very dangerous. After E6, right? Of course, that's again easy to say. You can always throw away your opponent's pawns, right? But I'm happier now. I think this is good. I'm not sure about this Queen A3 move. That was so brilliant. Now, if knight takes E3 now, well, then I guess E6 would be too crazy. So you probably have to take back with the rook, double, threaten E6, and threaten bishop E4. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. This is fun stuff. Okay, let's go back to, and of course, Caden and Alexei are both extremely strong players, so they're gonna know what's going on here. Okay, oh, here's what happened. That was a critical point right there. He played bishop H3 after all. And knight G4 was forced, and Queen E7 attacking the rook. And he took on F4. So one idea here is bishop takes E3, but a whole rook is hanging. Oh, this is getting really exciting. Is this happening right now? Oh my God, it is. Okay, so the first question is what happens. I mean, there's bishop takes knight. There's queen takes rook. Wow, this is something. Queen takes rook looks horrible because of bishop E3 or bishop G3, right? And there's mate threats all over the place. That looks really awful unless there's a trick, and I don't see a trick. So what about bishop takes G4? Bishop takes G4, I assume queen takes G4. And the idea is that you've got bishop takes G3 as a threat. On the other hand, that's a whole rook down there in the corner. Wow, that doesn't seem to work. There's queen G5. Ouch, what is going on here? What's wrong with bishop takes G4 here? Anybody? Got some help here? What am I missing? I'm missing something really obvious, I think. What? Takes, queen takes D8, and then you've got queen G4. Well, bishop takes E3 covers the G5 square. And threatens queen takes G3 check. Okay, so at that point in the game, white's a full rook down, but he's threatening queen G3 check. And the king can't really get out on H2. Well, it can go to H2. Boy, this looks scary. I'm amazed. I would say, well, the good thing here is we at least have a draw as white. Okay, so he simply captured. Very interesting. So this is definitely a winning try. And so now the rook is en prise, and white has ideas of bringing a rook to the 7th rank also. So black seems to be in some trouble, which is good news for our side, right? For the good guys. I don't see any real interesting thing for black to do here. I think he's going to have to just curl up, maybe take some sort of endgame, you know, some sort of maybe... Well, he really can't play queen d7 necessarily because of queen g5 with all kinds of threats on the dark squares and on h5. Maybe there's a queen g6. You just get the feeling white's much better now. That bishop on a8 is just awful, so even an endgame might very well be one for white. So my instincts here are that white's doing. Of course, it's always difficult because there's always stuff hanging. I don't know what people think about this. Can I make arrows and things like that on this thing? I'm not even sure if I can do that. Okay. Ooh, but then queen g5, right? Is that a problem? Because that hits g7 and h5. And the move g6 after that allows bishop takes g4. Well, not bishop takes g4, but it does mean the dark squares are completely open. So it's very scary. Maybe there'll be a rook c7 trick or something funny like that. Rook c7, queen c7, bishop takes g4. So I'll be interested to see if he plays queen g5. That just looks like a superb move. Boy, I don't know. Am I missing something, folks? Looks to me like queen g5 is very strong. And if g6, maybe you can play crazy, like rook c7. No, he's going to play the ending. Now that's very grandmasterly. It's a good decision because it's international masterly in this case. Because it's clear that white's got a big positional advantage. I'm not quite sure why queen g5 didn't work, but you know, I just looked at the position for the first time. So okay, so now the idea is simply look at that horrible, horrible bishop sitting there on that a8 square, and white has two bishops, and the f pawn's hanging and the a pawn's hanging. So this is a very safe solution. How's the time doing? We've got 4:18, 2:31. Oh, so Keaton is 2 minutes behind. That could become an issue, but it looks awfully good, doesn't it? I imagine something like knight h6. Well, maybe. Oh, not easy. Seems like he's going to have to give him something. He's going to give him the f pawn with tempo. That is scary. So I see. He's going to play a whole pawn down in a simplified position. He wants the opposite colored bishop, so he would like it if white took on g4. That's the idea, because then at least he could draw. He tried to draw. Right now, white should be just winning, because after all, there aren't opposite colored bishops, are there? This should simply win for white, I would think. Black should try and get a knight onto f5, bring the king forward. Keaton's getting a passed pawn, a4 and b5. Now, I should get to the other game quickly. This is what I've tended to do, is I get too absorbed in one game. Let's go back here and see what happened in this game. Okay, so after he did stop the e6 move. Oh, and g4, not bishop e4, but g4 was the idea. And black decided to panic and said, let's get out of here. Seems like white could have gotten a small edge in the ending by playing queen takes f8, but he decided to keep pieces on. So this is, I don't know what's happening here. I guess black wants to play king g7 and rook h8. And white can't really probably play h4, h5. What can white do to attack here? Maybe just bishop e4 and rook g3. Doubles first, okay. He's going to play rook f6 and then bring the other rook up. Rook f6 looks like a very good move, doesn't it? Oh, that's nice. Our two white boards are doing very well here, I think. This looks very promising. What's the time? Oh, he has a tremendous amount of time. Trough is almost out of time, and there's no increment. Well, there's a 2-second increment, right? Oh, this is terrific. So, once again, San Diego Surfers, way to go. Let's see what we're doing on the other board, this board. Pass pawn, and what, is it 1 or 2 extra pawns? It's 1 extra pawn. And black's actually tied down to the h pawn at this point, too, which is nice. Very hard to believe this isn't simply winning. How about the time? Okay, the time's not good, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. There's nothing very tricky about this position that I can see. I think we're going to win 2 games on the first 2 boards. Does everybody think? Craig won. How do we know that Craig won? I can't even get Craig's game up. Let me look. Here we go. Oh, here it is. That's the game that kept freaking out and saying it was illegal. Let's do this really quickly. Oh my god, it could be a 3-0 start, it looks like. Does anybody know what's happened to that 4th game that I never saw pop up? Okay, now I'm back to... okay. Just real quick look at this, because the other games are getting so exciting we want to get back to them. I'm sorry, so I kept trying to find this game and it kept failing me, but now it's appeared. Wow, look at this. And it's still going on, or is it over? What's going on here? So someone said he won, but the game's not over yet, am I right? Is that correct? Does someone want to say something there? Oh, Craig's game's the one I never found. No, but there's still another game that didn't show up, right? Oh, you're right. Craig's is the game I never found. Thank you very much. Yes, Josh's game never showed up, and so that's still true, right? The Jay Josu game never showed up? No, but it is. This is Immortal Technique. Craig's is Nom Nom Factor. And he's on my list, so it's supposed to pop up the minute he gets on. I don't see it on the events list either. So somebody knows that Craig has been playing. Maybe you can tell me how you know that. It's because it's not on the list on chess.com. I'm not a chess.com expert, but I don't see that there. And also, it's supposed to pop up. I see. So sorry. Right. Josh's is the game that just popped up for me, this Immortal Technique game. What's happening here, by the way? Or should we run back to... when we get to the end of the game, we should run back to the other game, see what's happening. Okay, so Keaton seems to be winning. And so we don't miss everything. And this game is... Black's defending very toughly here, it looks like. What do we think here? What's the time on this? 17 seconds for Caden Trough here. That's got to be a very good sign. White's got plenty of time. Boy, San Diego is just kicking butt, aren't they? Okay, just make a move. Why not? There's no hurry here at all when you've got that much of a time lead. Just rook h1? Yeah, and play for h5 maybe. Oh, it's 9 seconds. He's cutting on the 2-second increment or something. I hope he has a good equipment. I would think White would just play slowly now and not goof around because of the time situation. Okay, anyway, that's the Dreyev game. Looks good, but there's no obvious win as far as I can see. There's always this rook f5 idea, but I don't know if it actually works. Oh, cool. Now maybe rook f5, d5. d5 is becoming a big idea now. And in fact, d5 right now looks awfully strong, doesn't it? But maybe he doesn't want to risk it because he's so far ahead on time. Anyway, okay, quickly back to Keaton's game. And we get to, can he simply go over and wipe out that? Oh, he's losing the G pawn now. So I guess the idea now is if bishop takes g6, bishop a6. But he's ready to play king e2 now. Okay, so now he's trying to get the a pawn. You can just protect that, right? Or maybe you don't need to. Oh no, it takes. The a pawn, he can't take the a pawn because of b7. Okay, there's a lot of moves being made somewhere. Let's go back. Let's try this Immortal Technique game. Okay, a4. Okay, so not much has happened there. Who's winning this game, by the way? We have 2 extra pawns for White, 3 pieces for a rook for Black. Black seems to have some attacking chances, but White has it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Yeah, the minor pieces superficially would be better, but the king's so exposed. White's king's so exposed, so you would think White's doing pretty well. Black's king's pretty exposed there. Okay, let's go back. I'm hearing a lot of pieces being moved here. This game has gotten a little messy. Oh my goodness, look at this. That's an odd move. Lost king a4, right? Ah, good. Okay, so it's going to be 2 extra pawns, and I don't think Black can win either one of them. So this should be relatively easy now. Here's where we're glad we have the increment, right? I think White will win this just because the 2 seconds gives you a chance to win it. X. Ooh. Trick. Good. Okay, good, excellent. Wow, very good, Keaton. Excellent, well done. Very, very good. Okay. Dreyev is winning. Okay, I'll go back to see that. Thanks, guys. What do we got here? Oh my God, look at this. I don't know. We could check and see what happened there exactly from the time we looked at it. So he did go ahead and he played like this. Oh, how pretty. A nice pretty line. Okay. Okay, super well. And we got extra time too, right? Plenty of time. Okay, is that 2 wins or 3 wins? What did we decide? Someone told me that Craig won. The one that hasn't been shown here. Who was it knew that Craig won? Kyron, you mentioned that that's the game I didn't ever see. But Michael knew that Craig had won, so somehow he was following that game. I have no idea how that happened. Unless Craig changed his name or something, because he's not listed here. And I did follow his games last week, so I know I've got that right. Okay, so Keaton won, and here's that other game, that crazy game. Oh, look at this. Uh-oh. Oh. White's got a huge game all of a sudden. How did that happen? Does Black have miracle counterattacks, hopefully? What move are we on here? Rook E3. Oh, it's Black's move, okay. So if bishop h3, White just takes both pieces and ends up a rook ahead, right? Even though Black has some pawns. So he can't play bishop h3. Check makes sense. He's probably going to have to check. And then what? Rook g3. And then bishop d7. Boy, it's tough to find tricks here. Yeah, okay. So he gave up. He lost that game. Didn't seem to be any decent defense there. Okay, so Josh lost his game. And if Craig did win, which is what we've been told, then it was a 3-1 victory. Yeah, Michael, can you tell me where you found Craig's game? Did you see it on chess.com? Just curious. Can you give me a thing there? Yeah, 3-1 is the result. Terrific thing again, just like last week, starting just like last week. Yeah, Hilby's thing is the nom nom factor. That's his chess.com. And I'm looking through the list, and I simply don't see that. And he also didn't pop up automatically. Let me check my friends list to make sure he's still on there. Nom nom factor is on there, yeah. Maybe I should say follow again. Say follow again, just in case. Maybe for some reason I wasn't following him. Okay, thanks everybody. Good. Yeah, you see, it's tough to follow so fast everything that's going on. Repeat, please. My question was, how did you know, Michael, what had happened in Craig's game, in Nom Nom Factor's game? Yeah, I did too. I've got something called Events up, which usually has all the games on it, and I didn't see Nom Nom Factor on there. And maybe I just missed it. Normally he just pops up anyway for me because I'm following him. The other guys all popped up too, so just some little glitch here, and maybe it had to do with the way I set up my follow for him. Maybe I changed it accidentally and I'm not following it properly. But thank you very much. Okay, good. Hopefully we'll get him next round. Hopefully he'll pop up naturally next round. I think he will. He has in the past. His game's popped up. Okay, so we've got a little break here before the next round. I can tell you who's going to play. Give me a second. I can write all this down somewhere. Second round, White is Dreyev is Black against Pakleza, the GM, Zbigniew Pakleza. Keaton is Black against Caden Trough. Josh is White against Alberto Hernandez, and Craig is White against Elliot Liu. So it's funny about Elliot playing on the other team. He's one of our old San Diego friends, so it's funny to see him playing for the enemy here. But okay, so that's the next round. I'll repeat that for everybody. Alexei Dreyev is going to be White against Zbigniew Pakleza, the GM. I'm going to be Black, excuse me. So Pakleza is Black against Dreyev. Caden Trough, the GM, is White against our Keaton Kira. Our Joshua Sheng is White against Alberto Hernandez. And Craig Hilby is White against Elliot Liu. Alberto Hernandez doesn't seem to have a title. Elliot is an FM. Craig is an FM. So those are two FMs playing. And I don't know exactly what the timing is, but we'll see those games popping up, I'm sure, in a second. Maybe after the next round I'll review the round that came before it, but I'm still sort of organizing things here. I watched his opponent blunder the rook live, actually. Yeah, I'm still going down. Let me hit Craig's name and see if something just comes up here. View game archive. Albertini, here it is, 16 minutes ago. Okay, well, we can look at it. Oh, sorry, that was not a good idea. That was my fault. Let's go back here. You're going to see funny things on your screen there. Let me. It says analyze. Or I don't know how to select this game. Normally the game just selects, right? Oh well, anyway, it does say he won, and I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to bring up. Maybe you have to say analyze. And if you say analyze, you go off this page, and I don't really want to go off this page, folks, so I think I won't do that. We could look at the rest of this game. We could go back and look at a few moves from this game, how that game ended. Okay. Oh, the new game started. Here we go. So this is Paleka, or Pakleza, the GM, playing against Alexei Dreyev. London system, we've seen a ton of these recently, haven't we? Everybody's talking about the London system. It's going on and on and on. So, let's just see who's playing second board. Well, actually, Keaton is playing Trough on the second board. Trough will be white. Okay, so we've got a London system going on here, in here, sort of a Grunfeldy London. And that's actually transposed into a bishop f4 Grunfeld. This is now a standard bishop f4 Grunfeld. And I guess bishop e2 is the move. I always thought rook c1 was probably the main move there, or maybe dc5. But these days, who knows? Everybody knows what they're doing. Okay, let's check out real quick Caden Trough we're seeing here. And we've got Alexei Dreyev against, oh no, that's from before, excuse me, I should get rid of that game. Where's the other game? You should be seeing, that's the last game also. Okay, so the only game I'm having coming up automatically is Dreyev's game. Let me see if I can just artificially bring up the other games. Keaton's game, for example. Let me see. Agrok, I don't see it there. He may not have started yet. Okay, I'm doing the scroll through every game technique, and I don't see the rest of our games coming up yet. Only one game on. Yeah, thanks. Okay. That means the other ones will pop up shortly, I think. Okay, well, we can talk about this position, which I actually know nothing about. It does seem to me people are playing knight takes d4 so much more often, positions with knight takes d4, with that knight sitting there so much more often than they used to. I don't know at all what the theory is here. You would think a simple move like knight d7 would be good. There you go, yeah, why not? Threaten e5, and it's hard to believe white has anything in a position like this, just for me anyway, just looking at it from... Certainly in the old days, nobody would have been impressed, but people are getting very, very, very subtle about tiny little advantages that they squeeze out of these positions. It's beyond me how that works. Yeah, I mean, you know, black's going to have a bigger center. Here we go. Okay, there's Caden versus Keaton. See how that goes. And there's Josh versus Albert Hernandez. Alberto Hernandez. And there's Craig versus Elliot View. They probably know each other pretty well, I imagine. Okay, so here we have a modern defense. which may turn into Pierce. No, it's turning into a Tiger's Modern. This could be exciting. So black's playing Tiger's Modern, the a6b5 line. Oh, this could be this could get very theoretical. Bishop d3 is the usual move, yes. Usually they play knight d7 before bishop b7. Yeah, of course they know their stuff. Now you can play either castles or bishop e3. e5 is a little unusual to play this early. The idea is to play bishop e4 in a lot of positions. I should say it's unusual. It's been played a lot, but it's not the main. It's not what you see most often. Now e6 almost never works in a position like this, but I could be wrong. What happens is you can always play the knight to f8 after you take capture. Yeah, I can almost guarantee you this is booked. Now bishop e4 would be the move now, almost for sure. Yeah, there you go. And it used to be thought that white was slightly better in this position. This is Karyakin played this at some point. Sometimes black sacrifices an exchange, but in here, oh, okay. This is, for me, this is new. I don't know this exact position. Okay, that's the first new move from my point of view. Interesting. Okay, so the idea is to play e6, or maybe knight takes f7, right? And I suppose the queen can take on d4 in some lines too. But the first idea is e6. And if black plays e6, then I guess knight could come back to e4. No, not really. So maybe e6 is a possible move for black. Knight h6 is possible, but then e6 happens. Knight c5 is possible. I'm wondering about... Okay, maybe he's looking at h6. Maybe he's thinking about daring white into the attack. That is indeed very scary, but it might be a bluff. If knight f7, king f7, e6, king takes, it's going to be really hard to keep that king stuck there. So that one I'm not sure I believe so much. Maybe e6 right away would be a better version of that. And if e takes f7 and then knight g5 check, and that is a bit of a problem, because then you have knight e6 coming. So h6 looks at any rate extremely risky because of e6. Now if black plays e6, what's the problem here? What's going on here? Maybe just e takes d? Or knight e4 and captures, and you get the f-file to help your attack. So maybe that's the issue. So it's an interesting position to look at. Let's keep moving. There's always this problem that you can get stuck on one game. Okay, so this one, we have, this dragon, well, a Dragdorf with a6, and white plays very traditionally and classically, and stops the move b5 before black can play it. So white's trying to get a small positional advantage. Black gives up the bishop pair in order to get his pieces out. And white goes ahead and sets up a Maroczy bind. I don't know if that's absolutely the normal thing to do. You'd think even c3 would have been something. It looked like white, I'm not quite sure why black gives up his bishop pairs in this kind of position. I like the bishop pair, but that's just a small factor. So this is Josh versus Alberto Hernandez. Let's check out Keaton's game. Keaton's game was it Queen's Gambit? Catalan, okay. I won't know this line probably. Yeah, it's all normal so far. Oh, it's the old a4 line. Okay, a lot of people play this bishop d7, c6. Okay. My guess is this is all really well known. I guess one of the ideas there was knight b4. Is you might wonder why would he ever take on c6, but okay. I suspect these moves were played very, very quickly. So now what? Oh, that's where we are now. So what happens here? I guess rook b4 allows knight a2. No, well maybe not. Maybe something like rook b4, just to protect c4, or there's no big threat of queen takes c4 probably. It might not be a threat because b2 hangs. Okay, what's going on in this position? Okay, so the usual tripled pawn situation, and black actually is an extra pawn ahead. But of course, positionally, there's the c5 square, there's the c4 pawn, there's all those pawns on the c5. So my guess is this is some kind of known position. Is knight d5 a move? Yeah, I was just wondering. Knight d5 looks very natural and logical. White almost undoubtedly is going to take that bishop. What else can you do, really? And then maybe take on c4, and a lot of stuff is going off. Okay, what is White thinking of? Because it seems like bishop e7 is almost a given here. Am I missing something? Okay, so okay, so that's what we expected. Now let's go and check out that first board game again. Here we go, rook ac1. Oh, well, let's go back a little and see what happened. We had bishop c4, knight d7. Oh, he just got rid of he tried to get rid of the bishop pair. Wow. So we get a very normal looking position, which black never did get e5 in, so this is probably pretty even. Interesting. And now the knight can't move on c3 without allowing queen takes c1. So presumably this is probably about equal, but who knows? We'll have to check it out. I wonder if f4 is too insane. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, because of knight g4. So maybe he's thinking about f4 as a possibility. Good, solid, safe retreating move. This looks very equal, doesn't it, to most people? It does to me anyway. So let's just keep moving here. Now, do we have 4 games for a change? We do. Okay, so here's Josh's game. We already looked at this briefly. Most people would probably rather be white in a position like this, I think. But, who knows? Maybe there's some people that like these sort of dark square attempts. Wow. To me, this is just a big, big bind. Even a Sicilian player is going to be a little funny here. I wonder if there's some way of trying to break with b6 and play knight, just get bold and take knight takes c4 since you've got 4 pieces on that square. So, for example, b6 right now. I guess then there might be an f4. But something to break out of all this. Looks important. Okay, then we have Craig's game. So this happened. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so knight e4 takes, knight g5, e6 he did play, and it was knight f7. Okay, I was thinking of knight e4. Okay, knight g5. Now let's check the times here. Okay, so white has spent no time at all. So presumably he's worked this out at home, because otherwise he would take a little bit of time on this. So now queen g4 is a kind of interesting move. If king e7, maybe queen g4, but then there's knight c5. Kind of protecting everything. F5 is an interesting attacking move. Whoa! So he's letting him play knight takes e6. Not quite sure why, but yeah, I thought king e7 was going to be played, but I guess maybe e takes d is so good there's no reason to allow it. Yes, that's true. E takes d check was too strong. Okay, so this was vaguely forced. Wow, and the king can't castle kingside anymore, so even just grabbing the rook in the corner is probably good enough, is my guess. The only good thing is black has development now, but he's going to have to give up something. He can't trap the knight on g7, can he? Because there's going to be an e6 check. In other words, queen b6, knight g7, king f7. If nothing else, there's e6 takes, and takes on d7, e6 check. But maybe that's the best course anyway. What are you? Exchange down. Tough. White has spent almost no time. That indicates White probably knew this game. So Craig Helby, who has an almost perfect score in these matches, is just absolutely fantastic. He's on a total terror. He's going to win a board prize. So yeah, king e7, e6. Thank you very much. That's absolutely right. Yep. Oh, I see. That's what Kyron was trying to say. Absolutely, yeah. That seems like a forced sequence, and that's exactly what happened. Very good. So he had to play this king e8 move, but Kyron, you agree that doesn't look very good. Yeah, it's basically prep. So what else can black even try here? Yeah, that's what I thought. And then he'll have to play king f7 and hope for the best, I guess. After knight g7, assuming knight g7 is the move. I don't think there's any reason to get too fancy here. I think you should just take that bishop. And you can, if you want to, you can think about f5 as the next move, just trying to crash through. I wonder what else he's thinking of here. Maybe something like queen g4 or f5. f5 doesn't really look right to me because it lets black get a good defensive piece on e5, and who knows what's going to happen. So taking the bishop seems natural and best. Should we redo maybe think about that calculation? Okay, so now here's Josh's game. He didn't play anything like b6. What was the last move? e6. Wow. It just seems kind of depressing to me. I don't know what you guys think. Knight b3. And, but that's good, because we're white, right? We're San Diego. Okay, Keaton. That's what's going on with Keaton. Okay, it was bishop takes, as expected, and then knight, and then queen takes. And is this just going to simplify into a draw? Or now if queen takes c6, I guess there's... Oh no, there isn't rook c2. That would be a trick. So probably just queen c6, yes. Queen f6. Okay, interesting. So why isn't white... Okay, so queen takes f2 check is threatened, obviously, right? So knight e4 is possible, risky looking, very risky looking, because of queen f3, and also rook f1. That's the natural move. That's what you would expect, yeah. Now, luckily, black still can't play rook c2 because of knight takes d5. I shouldn't say luckily. Are there any other... What else can black do here? The material is dead even, is that right? Yes, the material's even. Maybe h... Well, knight takes d5 is now an issue, isn't it? Okay, good. I was thinking queen f3 ideas, but this is maybe more realistic. So the point is, after queen takes c7, he's going to play knight d3. But then there's just knight d1, if nothing else. So queen c7, what's the idea? Is it queen f3, just to get a huge bind? That might be good. Yeah, I suspect he'd play queen f3. Wild guessing here. I'm a terrible blitz player. Rook c2 draws. I didn't see that. White would have drawn, but you're probably right. Oh, here we go. Knight d5, rook c6, knight f6, gf. Oh yeah, that could be true. But was black trying to draw is the question, for one thing, right? Black's trying to get some pressure. I assume here queen c7 he's going to play. Oh, I see, if queen f3, queen f4. So maybe he can take it. What do you think, Kyrie? Can black just take that pawn? Knight d3, I think knight d1, even though that's a very awkward move, it's still, you know, he's a pawn up and starting to chase black's pieces away. Of course, the other thing is black's very active, so he could just play queen takes f4. After queen f3, queen f4, he could take it and play rook c8. That would probably be fine, actually. Yeah, that'd be enough compensation. Okay, sorry, I should keep moving along here. It's always easy to forget how fast these games are going. Okay, so we have Josh's game. Wow, quite a bit has happened here. White has that isolated, black has that isolated pawn, but all of a sudden black's active. So that's kind of interesting that something's happened here. Let's kind of look at this. Oh, f5, okay, good. Well, it's always good to try and get active, especially with a time control like this, right? Okay, who knows if black's doing well here? Probably not, but at least there's something going on, so that's kind of fun. I think it's actually psychologically good for black to have played this way. Just my opinion, unless there's a forced win, like an immediate win. Just because, look, a lot of the pieces are quite active now. There's a lot of open squares, and there's an open file, and I don't think the king's in any particular danger, so this is kind of fun. Okay, Craig's game. Let's go there again. Oh, he did. He just took it. So that took a while. It took a long time. So maybe he hadn't calculated it all. Now the natural thing to do here is just e6 to make sure you don't end up material down. But there's other moves. Oh, queen f3. Excuse me. Queen f3 came first. Interesting. Okay. Rook a7 makes sense. He's just defending that and defending on the second rank. And now, is there some sort of f5? There is an f5. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is wonderful stuff. I don't know how much of it is forced or calculated or whatever. Now, it looks like knight takes e5 should just lose to f takes g6. You have to see the actual mate, but instinctively it seems like there probably is going to be one, especially with the bishop on c1. So let's assume that's not going to happen. So what can black do? Well, what about taking the knight? Is it simply f takes g, or is there something even simpler? Is f6 a good move? Probably f takes g. But then knight takes, oh, and then if knight takes e5, you have queen f8. Well, I mean, he has to have this worked out, right? There's also a queen, right now there's a queen d5 idea also in the cards too, so. So maybe king takes g7 has to be risked. Oh boy. Does anybody have any theories here? Yes, non-mode factor is Craig Hilbeath. Thank you. Yeah, I should look at the chat more often. Okay, knight d5, rook c6. This is in. Oh, that was the other game. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have. Oh, so he did take that. Now we've got to assume. Oh well, why not? Yeah, that's interesting. Is there something crazy like a queen d5 and an f6? The obvious move is double check, of course. So we have to see what happens there. Wait, doesn't it? Double check looks like it should work. How does black play? If king takes, we have queen f8, and then if king g6, look at all the pieces. Surely there's something. Maybe that's what he's calculating here. Ooh, not so easy. Maybe the king's fairly safe on g6. It's a perpetual immediately, of course, if you need it, because you have queen f5, f8, f8, 5, f8. Craig, what do you think? Queen g3. Oh, queen g3, and the knight g4 and takes, and it's checkmate. Okay, so if king takes, sorry, I'm so slow, guys. Yeah, f takes g. If king takes g, queen g3. So king takes. No, but I was talking about king takes g7. So if we solve king takes g7, because after queen f8, king g6, there's no more queen g3 check, right? It's not self-evident to me right offhand, but it looks pretty good. So what are we saying? F takes g, king g7, and where's exactly? Is there a mate? That's what we're asking. Good. We're all on the same page here. Almost has to be queen f8, just so that even if you make a slow attack later, you've got everything tied down. And you have the queen e8 option too, I would think. So I would think he's going to play queen f8 now. What else could he be looking at here? I mean, there's plenty of possibilities, I guess, but queen d5 doesn't seem to do anything. So let's assume queen f8. He's got a lot of time, that's why he's... Although he's only 2 minutes ahead now. So queen f8, king g6, what is the next question? What do you play next? Bishop g5 or something, just really exotic. Rook f5. Black has that check, but it's not doing anything. You want to get doubled as fast as you can. You want to get the bishop out and get the rooks out. I don't see a mate. What does everybody think? What do people think? You're right, the perpet. They're sitting right there. It's the f8, f5, f8, f5, and that may even happen. Which, you know, wouldn't be the end of the world. And Craig is having an incredible tournament. 2 weeks here. It's going on. Let's go back to this game. Oh, c5 right away. Needless to say, we didn't analyze this position, so maybe there was already been a forced tremendous game here. I mean, you have to think White's doing well, don't you? But, you know, who knows? At least Black's got some activity. Okay, Keaton's game. We should have gone there a while ago too, maybe. Okay, so we had this position, knight e4. He did take, and he did play knight d1. Okay, rook b3. That seems like slightly a bad sign, actually. Queen c2, rook doubles. Knight back again. Okay. Knight b2. I guess he's thinking about knight c4. Okay, so they're thinking here. It seems like okay, knight b5. It seems like things have gone wrong for Black here. Am I right? Because for one, he's a pawn down, isn't he? Yes. So that something didn't work there. I think the whole idea of allowing queen c7 didn't quite work. I still think he should have played queen f3 though. Anyway, rook b4. So the threat now is knight takes a4, rook takes, winning the pawn back. Ah, so that's an interesting move. So it looks like White's knight isn't really happy there. Maybe the thing is that there's also rook c4 as an idea. So White's maybe considering things like knight a7 or the other rook over to b1. I have to admit, it all looks a little artificial for Black. Maybe the other rook comes over to b1. Yeah, or that rook. Yeah, either rook. Keaton's about a minute ahead of Cade, and that might help later. This is going to be a complicated game. For some reason, it almost doesn't matter what the material is. Okay, here's Andreev's game again. Remember all this? Whoops, sorry. He just made another move. Okay, so basically this is a very innocent-looking position. I mean, you feel like you've seen this a million times in the top players, and they agree to a draw, right? But, what's this? Oh, nothing. It's a bluff. It was close. Oh my God, he just won material. Did anybody see this? It was a blunder. It was the famous blunder with the rook down, diverting the queen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, incredible. This is terrible. That's Alex that blew it. Oh, such a standard blunder. Well, let's see what happens. Maybe things are still happening. What's the time? Oh, and Alex has no time left either. Oh, this is just awful. He probably spent his time trying to figure out how to get out of the trap. Yeah, well, this is just going to be lost, isn't it? Okay, so this is not good. San Diego's taking a couple blows here. Let's get back to that game and see if Craig can come up with some brilliant way to play this. Okay, so he is checking. Is he taking the draw? He's probably just taking the draw. Unless he has some way of doing something. Is it still going on at this point, or is it over? Have they done it twice? Okay, but so what else is there now? Something like bishop f4 or something? You know, he's only a piece down, and there's quite an attack. There's no rook lift yet. Does anybody else see anything here? Maybe something like bishop f4. The thing is, though, is that right now, White doesn't have any extra pawns. So anything he does like that is going to be extremely risky. Yeah, that's it. He took the draw. Oh, no, now he plays bishop f4. Okay, good. Same idea. Yeah, it's quite a threat. I mean, it's true that Black can play knight f6 at the end, but then the other rook comes over too. So White's still got a reasonable attack. Okay, let's go back and kind of summarize what's going on here. I'm losing track. Are we winning this? Are we losing this match? Okay, Alexi's definitely losing. He probably already lost. Keaton is struggling away. Okay, so what's going on here? This game has changed dramatically just recently. Let's see, we stopped right about there. And for some reason, Keaton thought he was winning that piece. I don't understand that at all. This is very odd. Very, very odd. I guess there's a b3 here, maybe. No, knight takes just swings. Oh. Yeah. So White won the game, Keaton's game. Did everybody see that? Wow, so this is the first time ever since we started last week that we've had a bad round. I mean, just a horrible round. Everything's gone wrong here. Now let's check Josh's game out. His has actually been the best up to now, and I wonder if that's still true. Let's take a quick look. What's the time doing? He's ahead in time, and oh, he's winning material, looks like. Maybe, anyway. And those two passed pawns on the queen side look extremely good. Let me see, once those pieces come off, unless Black has another trick here, they will have one extra pawn, but there'll be the two passed pawns. This has to be good for White, right? We need one good game. Yeah, so I would think White would win this. So this game's looking good, and Craig's game, he's trying to win. And that's absolutely fantastically brave and bold of him to do. Let's see what happens there. H6. Well, there are crazy, insane things like rook AE1 takes rook E6, but then I think there's just rook H6. I think. So, is there any other crazy way to do this? I mean, the obvious move is bishop f6, but he'll take that and then just run away. And you could easily lose that game. So all of a sudden, it's possible for White to lose this game, isn't it? So he needs some tricks. So rook AE1 takes rook E6, rook H6, right? Any opinions on this? This is very messy. Yeah, bishop f4. I agree with von Ayer or Lier, Ayer, I guess. Van Ayer. Hi. But I think it was bold and brave of him to at least try. I mean, I think he knew it was risky. He had to know it was risky. But yeah, it does look bad for also to me. It looks bad too. Yeah, that rook e6 thing doesn't work. Still not easy. The king is going to be so exposed over there on h7. I think he should just go ahead and play bishop f6. Even if he loses that rook f8 tempo, oh well, anyway. And then bring the other rook over because everything was pinned. This is very negative, but who knows? I guess you could argue this makes black think. Maybe d5 is a good move, getting the rook over, or the queen over for defense on the third rank. Rook h7 is interesting. Queen c5, okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That might be an excellent move. Again, d5 looks like a way to get the pieces into activity. Oh, look at that, though. That's interesting. Okay, back to g4. Then there's knight f6 with tempo, isn't there? Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have allowed that. Maybe queen h3 was a little more accurate. But yeah, it's not looking good, is it? But I mean, we're trying, right? I think bishop f6 check might have been a slightly better try than this, though, because black's getting all his pieces out now. Okay. Okay, let's go back to Joshua's game. Big lead in time, so this is good. Plenty of time in this position, and a pawn ahead, and it's those really powerful passed pawns. So this should be terrific for Josh. Anything, queen c6, who knows? Well, yeah, I mean this just looks like a winning game. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but it looks awfully good to me. So that leaves only those two games. Let's go back to the Craig's game. Oh, he did play knight f6. Oh, now it's just starting to fall apart. And also he's behind on time now too. It's a bad sign. He's desperately looking for winning chances and finding nothing. But I have to, you have to salute him. He gave it a try. He knew very well it was a draw. He knew also that this had to be risky. And it's just looking awful, isn't it? Wow. Well, he just has to make a quick move. The time is an issue now. There's almost anything. There should be one or something. Oh. Yeah, no, he's got to watch his time here. If he's gonna win, it's because he's gonna make the other person think. Maybe he'll just resign. It's looking awful, isn't it? Okay, so this one backfired, but I give him credit for trying the bishop f4 move. I think it's really fun that he he at least gave it a whirl. It's chess, right? I mean, and a lot of times a risk like that will work. I think he had the idea that even if the guy defended the state of peace down, he'd be tied down and in time trouble. And that could have happened, it just didn't happen. Okay, is there any trick here at all? What happens if he just takes the bishop? What's the trick? There isn't one. Okay, this is nothing. He's just making this up. It's just nothing. It just doesn't work. Okay, so, oh, bye, John. Thanks for popping in and watching. Okay, well, we had a disastrous round. Has Josh won yet? Not yet. And he may not win. We'll have to see, but it looks awfully good. I like the time situation. The guy's down to 15 seconds. think we're going to pick up the D pawn here. He's going to have to avoid exchange of queens. This looks awfully good. It's down to 12 seconds, 11 seconds. So we won the first round 3-1, but it looks like we lost the second round 3-1. Right, unless an absolute miracle happens here for Black. I think Black's going to resign this. Nope, he played. I don't even know what he played. Oh no, he did resign, I guess. It doesn't say so on the board, but he must have, huh? Oh, play one at a time, yeah, okay. Excellent, folks. Okay, so we blew that one. That's the first bad result in 2 weeks, actually. And didn't seem to me those games had to be bad. And I don't know, kudos for Craig for trying. I know it was bad, but I think it was a tough decision to make, especially given the fact that he has such an enormous winning percentage so far this year. So let's, I guess the next round will start pretty soon. You get no breaks in this thing. You get just little short breaks between rounds. And we'll see, yeah. So even match so far, no problem yet. But I can't believe that Andreev, after all these years, missed the rook check, the famous rook check diversionary check, winning the rook on A8. That is so standard, right? I mean, how many articles have we seen about that particular tactic? I just figured when he allowed it, it must not have been, there must have not been a version of it that was good, but it was just your absolute standard normal thing. Shows that the very best of us, Andreev was a candidate. Everybody knows that. He was one of the top players in the world for quite a long time. Highly respected player, and one of the world's best players. And he looks to me, I'm not sure, but it looks to me that he just fell for that. It's not like he had to go into that. He just fell for the famous rook check diversion, followed by winning the rook on the last rank and losing the exchange. And maybe I'm judging that too quickly because we just buzzed by it. Maybe there was some subtlety there that he had to get stuck somehow, but I don't think so. Oh, 2 more rounds, yep. Exactly. It's a time to go to sleep. Where's the break? Where's our we need a halftime. We need a half-hour relaxation period here. Okay, so let me get rid of some of these games. We could actually check and see what happened in some of these games, but I think we did. We kind of knew them. I'll tell you what, let's look at that game and see where it was that he lost that material. Because it seems sort of unbelievable. Let's do this. This is it. Alexei Andreev, of all people, one of the tremendous players. Let's just see this. Okay, so this is all just normal. Looks like a complete draw. And there it was. It's that move. Okay. So first of all, he's not forced into that move at all, right? There's no threat at all, hardly, right? So rook queen c2 is not at all forced, but it does lose by force, right? It loses the exchange. Okay, well, I guess the only thing I would say about this is if there's any students that are listening, don't fall for this one, because you're supposed to learn this very early in your career and only fall for it once. You're not supposed to let it happen when you're well into even in a blitz game, you're not supposed to go for this one. I guess he just grabbed that queen and put it on c2 too quickly. The idea is that if black takes, that the queen is hanging. And so what happens is that even though black has another move here, now the queen diverts the rook, and a lot of times this means that white wins a whole rook. It happens that in this version of the trap, he only won an exchange because the bishop was hanging. But still, it's the standard trap, and absolutely astonishing that he must be either. Hopefully, he's laughing that he could have fallen for that one. But it's an old saw, that little trick there. Okay, what are we doing now? Well, just waiting for the next games, I guess. I'm gonna get some water. There we go. Okay, folks, I'm back. Games have started. This is International Master John Watson. For those of you who just came or tuned in or are not San Diego Surfer regulars, this is the San Diego Surfer channel for the Professional Chess League. And this round this is round 3. The teams are tied so far at 4-4. And we have Alexei Drev as white against Elliot Liu. Kira as white against Alberto Hernandez. Caden Troff as white against Joshua Sheng, and Zbigniew Pakleza, as I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, my apologies, as white against FM Craig Hilby, who just played a brave but tragic game. So let's see if San Diego can recover from the last round. They're right in the match, it's even. And this is our first game. This is Caden as, this is Craig is black, we just switched to, against the GM. And another London system. Boy, are we getting used to London systems. Everybody's been seeing these positions for quite some time now. So we're now in the absolute standard London position, which I think has been doing fine for black in these positions. He castles, and if he doesn't fall for some tricks, he plays b6. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, now the other one, the next one is Caden Troff is white against Josh. And this looks like all theory. Moran variation. It's supposed to be okay for black, this position, I thought, but let me check. Okay, so this is the one with, okay. Actually, this order, black, yeah, could have played e5 in this order. But I don't know. I don't know this particular one. It's probably working fine. Rook e1 is sort of a standard idea. Often the queen goes to e7. Okay, so I guess these are all normal moves. I don't know who knows the theory here. We've got 13:54 in time to 14:28. That implies both sides are still very confident about what they're doing. Let's check the next game. Where are the next games, folks? Okay, what do I have here? Immortal Technique. There's our Alexander Drev game against Elliot Liu. We can even check the opening if you want to. It doesn't hurt. It's a g3 King's Indian, but it turns into a Grunfeld. Knight c6, I don't know, is that a normal move? I guess it must be one. I don't know, that's Elliot Liu's move. I have no idea. Okay, so that's as far as they've gotten. Nothing much happening there yet. We have Keaton's game. Have we looked at that? I don't think we have, against Alberto Hernandez. I like Keaton's game. It's just your standard, very standard position. It tends to be better for white, this kind of thing. Yeah, now normally black would probably play the knight a6, c7 line in this variation, but he's trying something else. Ooh, knight d7. Yeah, I mean, I like white in these things, generally. Just queen d2. Yeah, usually you would probably play queen d2 instead of rook e1, but I don't know if there's really any difference. Actually, there isn't, is there? Now you can play bishop f1 or queen d2. Maybe knight d2. No, not knight d2. Probably queen d2. Okay, but anyway, nothing happening there. Next one, Craig Hilby is black. Oh, okay, so here we go. Grandmaster is white, and he plays b6. Good. That's the good line. That's the line nobody is cracking. e4 is considered premature, actually, or usually isn't that good a move at this point. One that you can play here, well, let me see if I can remember my theory. I guess the fact is I don't remember my theory. Does anybody? Yeah, bishop e7. That's sort of a standard move to play knight h5 after e5. Okay, well, so that we're probably still in book here. That's certainly the standard maneuver, bishop e7 after e4. But I wasn't sure if it happened in this exact position. I guess it does, doesn't it? And black has done quite well in this position, even though it looks kind of cramped and strange. You know, it'd be better if white had already castled, because then when you took on g3, you wouldn't be opening up that file. But let's just see what happens here. Okay. Yeah, g6, that's right. That's a standard move, too. This is like that game that So played as black recently in one of the super tournaments. Maybe against Sedlak? This might have been the Sedlak-So game, roughly. And queen e2 is often played. I don't remember about a5, but these games are very similar. Yeah, so it'd be black doesn't have to take on g3 yet. He can take later. That's the idea, because he doesn't want to open up that file. So it'd be silly to take too early. Okay, interesting. So that's kind of cool. I hear a lot of pieces clicking now, so something's going on here. Let's go back to here. Oh, this hasn't changed that much. Okay, very little happening there. How about the Keaton Keaton game? Okay, a little bit going on there. 98, Rookie 1, Knight C7. 92. Yeah. I suspect that white is quite happy here, moving over towards the queen side. I guess black can think about things like knight b5, but where's it going, right? Yeah, so this is nice. I like this for Keaton. I think it's kind of a nice position. And Keaton. Okay, we just looked at that, sorry. And this one we just looked at. Oh, he did. He went ahead and played f5. Wow. Okay, is that? I guess that's reasonable. Putting some pressure on d4 and thinking about playing knight takes g3 followed by e5 at some point. That's always a good move, unless it tactically fails. It's a good move because it controls e5. Move knight a7 might be interesting because it threatens to take and play bishop a6. So maybe knight a7 gets your tempo back. Be an interesting try anyway. What else can happen here? I mean, you could take on g3 and play queen d6 or c7 or something, right? It does sort of seem like black should be okay here. And white hasn't castled, and there's a limit to what white can do here. So, yeah, kind of like this knight a7 idea. I wonder if you can get away with that. I might be missing something. Goes away from the center, but it does. Oh, maybe white just ignores it completely and plays bishop e5. Okay, so that's different. Yeah, take first, and then play either queen to c7 or knight a7. But don't play bishop d7, because you'll get bishop takes c6 and queen e6 check. Yeah, I would think knight a7 here would be a pretty reasonable move, or queen, say, d6. Because if white starts capturing and playing knight e5, he's got to worry about the move bishop a6. Okay, so he played knight a7. So I imagine bishop d3. And it might be smart to just come back now with knight c6 and ask white what the heck he's doing, because that threatens d4, and it also stops knight e5 from being good, and it also means that there's still the bishop's able to come to a6 in some lines still. So knight c6 is the natural move. I'm not sure what else he should be doing. Consider taking on d4 and then playing knight c6. Could consider just a queen move, but he's got to be a little careful about just knight g5, because after knight e5 for white, because after that there's little sacrifices on g6, and the queen comes over to g4 or h5 or whatever. So it seems to me knight c6 is the appropriate move here. Anyway, can't spend too long in one move. He did. He went back to knight c6. Good for Craig. I think he knows what he's doing. See, having not repeated last time, he's gonna think about repeating this time if he has to. Okay, absolutely nothing going on here, is there? Things have really slowed down. This is a lot of time to spend on pretty routine moves, but I guess once you're out of theory, you're out of theory. Okay, so top boards, we have 95. Wow, well, let's see this. Okay, so takes. This is that knight c6 system. Okay, bishop e6, and he comes to e5. I have no idea what's good or what isn't here. It's all very concrete. They're going very slowly. I mean, relatively slowly. Black especially is going very slowly. So Dreyev has a nice time lead here, almost 5-minute time lead. So that could be significant later. Okay, here's Keaton's game against Alberto. We were already looking at knight d1, knight f6, bishop c4. Just preparing e5 here pretty soon. He's trying to figure out how to coordinate it. Maybe queen d3, which covers that a6 and b5 square, and then you can worry about knight e3 and or otherwise preparing breakthroughs. At some point there might be rook a7, but it seems too early for that. Oh, there's queen f4 too. Maybe he's thinking about queen f4. d3 looks like a good thing. Black's kind of cramped here. maybe after queen d3 there's bishop d7. I guess that's what black would like to do, is somehow put a piece on b5. I think white's just better. White has more space. Maybe if black can play e5 or e6, he can free his game to some extent, but don't know if that'll be easy to do. I hear a lot of clicking pieces, so let me go back to, I guess, the Dreyev game. Yes, that's what something's been happening, I guess. Okay, so what happened? Knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. So this is Elliot Liu is black. He's hitting the b pawn, but white's hitting the b pawn. The knight on h5 is hanging, but that doesn't seem to be a problem. Wow, white looks really nicely off here. White just plays, I don't know, queen b3 or queen c2 or something. Yeah, I mean, this. Why wouldn't this be good for white? It just looks excellent. Not because he's winning a pawn, even if he is, but because he's got the rooks coming to the center and the bishop pair. To me, this looks like no compensation for the bishop pair. Don't know what the rest of you guys are thinking. Hey, I'm not getting anybody in the chat, so I'm boring everybody to death, I guess. Somebody say something. Okay, we have, so I like white in this game. I like Keaton in his game. So far San Diego looks pretty good. And the Caden Trough game, I can't tell. Seems like white's starting to get some play. But nothing that special. There's a knight takes e4 threatened. Yeah, this could be just a normal game. Hard to say. This just depends on specifics, doesn't it? But it seems okay offhand. I like this idea about threatening knight takes e4. And the time's fairly even, so nothing too bad there. Let's check out Craig's game again. Where were we left here? That was a few moves ago. Knight c6, queen e3. Okay, so he didn't play bishop e5 again. Queen e7. Bit of a strange move, because then when you play e5, you're pinned. Okay, he's going to g7. Now, why doesn't a4 win something is the next question. Yeah, I thought so, bishop e5. Okay, interesting. So he could have taken on b3 and then simply moved the rook. You know, maybe to a5 or something, or even a7, probably a7. Oh, but he's just worried about just straightforward losing a pawn on b3. My fault. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's a serious issue. So maybe a4 was a little fast. Maybe he played it a little more quickly, sorry, than he should have. Nice move. Who knows what's going on here? I wonder if he's thinking about grabbing the pawn on d4. Is that necessarily bad? Got any help here? But I think white is better. Black up a pawn, white during the Dreyev game. A little while ago that was going very well for white. So what's going on now? Oh, things have happened, okay. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have to take that pawn. White's just positionally better here. So he's probably taking it because it's good, is my guess. Black up a pawn. That's what I had wrong about this position. Thank you very much, because I thought white had a tremendously good game, but he was a pawn down. Excellent, Chiron. Yes, because I was just saying this was a great position for white. Well, now he got his pawn back, and I suspect he's still a little better. But okay, so the reason he gave up two bishops in a horrible position was because he was a pawn ahead. So thank you. Yeah, I missed the material there. What else do we have? Yeah, I think this, okay, and here's the Keaton game, which is, yeah, queen d3, good move, I think, just good solid move. And Keaton's way behind on time. That's not like him. I wonder why he's getting so serious about it. That wasn't that important a move to worry about that much. So I don't really like that, but he was getting a little bit tired. Okay, what do we have going on here? This is the Craig's game again, right? Oh, this has been kind of a crazy game. So he did take it. And I didn't know what was wrong with taking it. It looks like a good thing to do, but apparently there was an idea. Okay, that was the idea, trying to win back the b pawn. So he did have an idea, but I still think, why wouldn't black be okay? It looks fine to me. I think it's going to be okay. Could be wrong, but it just looks okay. How's the time doing? Oh, okay, so one thing is Craig's behind by a lot of time. That's not good. He's made all good, natural, normal moves, but he has lost a lot of time. So Is he thinking about e5 just to get the center moving? You know, allow queen takes b6. That's no big problem. Yeah, maybe the move e5 would be really interesting here. Just give up the b6 pawn in order to keep things rolling in the center. But one thing you should do is watch his time. He's down almost 4 minutes. That's a bad sign. I think that's he's just going to have to move faster no matter what he does here. Okay, this game has changed dramatically. What just happened here? A game where very little seemed to be happening, and all of a sudden everything's exploding here. Okay, what is this? This is still even material, and black's pawns are ruined, but that's maybe okay with black. I mean, I don't know about this bishop on b7, but at the king side, it's not like you're about to get mated, and you can swing the queen. If the queen goes to h6, you've got queen e5 to g5, right? Oh, bishop f5. Oh my god. Ouch. Whoops. Oh, this could be awful. This could be really awful. Is this the actual position? This is the actual position. Wow, black's timing was just wrong here, I think. Oh, he's going to be able to play h6, but that's such a bad-looking position. Okay, but at least he's in the game. Okay, so queen h3, and then after bishop f5, you're going to throw in h6. Maybe black can play queen f4 and defend with his pieces and avoid that horrible move f6. Anyway, white suddenly seems to be much better, right? Oh, okay, so he's saved his pawn structure. I don't know if that's worth it, because positionally things were looking so bad. Now just bishop g7, right? Okay, well, I feel like black's sort of back in it now. I felt like it was almost a forced loss. Now we're only one pawn down, right? Yeah, we're just one pawn down, and we have good active bishops. And we move the queen next. So, okay, I was almost ready to give up on this game, but now I feel like this is still a game, unless there's a tactical trick here, like knight b5 or something. Okay, now just get that queen out of there, and things are not that bad, right? Maybe queen e5 or something? There's going to be a b4 move at some point. Yeah, queen e5, maybe. I don't think you have to be afraid of bishop f5, queen h5, because you can just play h6. Anyway, got to keep moving from game to game here. Okay, here's Craig's game again. Did he play e5? Looks like he played e5. No, he didn't. He played knight takes. Then he played e5. Well, very solid. Structurally, it looks just fine for black. And is there any tactical problems? Nothing special. So I think black's doing fine here. It's even material, right? But the time is not good. He's quite a ways behind on time, so that could be a bit of an issue. Okay, then we have Caden versus Josh again. Oh, this is the one we were just at. And Josh is taking his time. He has to try and stay a little ahead on time just because he has a pawn down and, you know, the worst game. And he should try to make sure his time situation stays in good shape. Easier said than done, I know. You all know how hard that is. What do we got here? We've got a whole bunch of moves here. So he finally got e6 in. That's probably why Keaton was taking so long, was to try and stop him from getting e6 in. Okay. Not some sort of takes an e5 thing. Okay. Well, sorry. Okay, there, queen f8, c3. Okay. Okay, well, white still has a space advantage. The d-pawn is relatively secure. c3 is a sad move to have to make. There were no threats on the queen side. You'd think white would be trying to weasel over to attack the d-pawn. I mean, it could be that black's just fine now. What about rook e8, for example? Oh, I see. If he doesn't capture once, then white's going to get to d4 with the queen or something. Yeah. And if he captures, the queen gets just c3. Okay, good for Keaton. So there's a point there. So maybe black should just play a simple move like bishop a8 or even bishop c8. Even bishop c8 to maybe. Something that keeps the rook on that pawn. Yeah, I don't see too big a danger for black in this position. I think white's still you know, has a little bit of space to work with. If you can get a queen on that long diagonal, that's going to be really nice, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think black should just move the bishop, probably. Maybe after that he takes anyway, and after rook takes he plays queen c3, black plays queen d8 and moves his king. It doesn't look like a big advantage. Most people would rather be white, at least in practice, I think, here. Alright, so, Caden? Okay, he didn't play queen e5. He played b4 right away. He's trying to kind of mix things up. I'm not sure if he really has to. Oh boy. So now what's the point here? He's on b4. So something like queen e5, knight takes b4, queen takes b2, knight takes c6. Or queen a5, protecting b4. But that allows knight f6 check. You can't allow that. That doesn't make any sense. So it looks to me like queen a5, knight takes b4. Maybe queen takes b2, knight takes c6, rook takes d1, queen takes d1. Oh, I'm trying to get this bishop d4 move in, but you can never seem to get it in. So this knight d5 might be a pretty good move. Just offhand, I'm just guessing. To me, it's all guesswork because I can't think that quickly. Drave is up in exchange. Let's try that. Let's go over and see that. That would be over where? Here. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay, how did that happen? Oh. Boy, this I have to admit this is Elliot's worst game by far. Elliot just seems to be totally out of it here. I think White is going to probably end up winning that game. It just looks like huge lead in time and material now. He has good material, but also look at the time. So I think we're going to win that game, folks. And now the Keaton's game is just a game. Whoa, Black's making some very committal moves. That was strange. Now I really tend to like. Well, it's hard to say because there's some weaknesses too. This is getting complicated. How's the time situation? Ooh, Keaton should hurry up a little bit. Okay, Caden Trough. Okay, we're still thinking here. Josh simply has to commit to make a move, even if he's losing a pawn or something. He can't allow knight f6 check, surely, can he? Then it's too easy for White. I think he has to just give it the big pawn. Exactly, good move, but he took too long to play it, I think. Okay, now we have Craig again. Ooh, again, a lot of things have happened. Let me go back for a second. Oh, we're at move 40. This has been a very complicated game. Imagine how hard this game was to play. So, Craig, there's trading exchanges here. Oh, excuse me. So that move was just played, I guess. White is a pawn ahead, and Black has a nice center. But somehow White has sort of consolidated. Wow. Oh, bad news for San Diego. Very bad news for San Diego. How did that happen? What's the time situation? Oh, I see. Craig was very short, so he started moving faster. Oh, this is not good. Too bad, because even after he lost the pawn, I had a feeling he was kind of in it. But let's see what happened there. Well, just things were going on too quickly. This whole bishop b5 thing. Oh, he actually resigned with 35 seconds left. Yeah, I suppose there's not much to do. I think you probably would normally, wouldn't you guys usually fight that off a little bit? Okay, pawn at g5 is a huge achievement. I think Craig's losing. You're right. Yeah, I agree. Something funny happened. I think Craig was really hanging in there, but he spent way too long on his clock. I think maybe you guys agree with that. Just the clock really killed him there. Also, I wonder if he could have played e5 earlier. That looked really good. Before he gave up the pawn. Get back the pawn, because at the time he was a pawn on. Okay, here's Keaton's game. Even material. And my goodness. His move. Black's move. So I imagine he'll throw f6 in. And if h4, he's got bishop g4, right? So is f6 a good move? I don't know. Anyway, black's thinking Keaton better win this game. We need Keaton to win this game somehow, and maybe I just better higher skill level is our hope here. Yeah, I would think f6 would be a bit of a problem because I don't see how you get rid of the bishop on f5. I don't see what white's threatening. f6 looks like, oh, maybe knight h5. And that's just a mess. That's a total mess. And that would probably be good for black though. Just pawn takes. Oh, good. Wow, I was really scared of f6. But at least here we're still not, there's no forcing way to get a forced advantage or something. Okay, well, I wouldn't exchange. I don't think. Although I suppose you could think about playing knight d2 and either to c4 or e4 if you exchanged. Okay, tough position. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now knight d2 maybe. So again, yeah, it's just it's hard to say. Hard position. Rook b7 or something? I don't know. Or king, maybe king comes up so that the knight can get back into play. Wow. That's a very odd move. I'm not sure what that's about. It leaves d6 hanging. It doesn't come. Yeah. Wow. Well, I would have thought h4 to get that thing, get that piece coordinated. Oh, well, black's trying to blitz white now. Probably not a good idea. Why didn't he just take that? Well, this is great. All of a sudden, white has all the chances. I mean, it may not be anything, but it looks pretty good to me. It's all white's piece of good. Black's knight is terrible. So black should have played rook b7 a long time ago instead of rook e7 for one thing. A long time ago. And now it's too late. Or it's getting very late. Good. I think Keaton's good in these positions. Probably black should try and play a rook b7 knight, f8 d7 or something. Get counterplay, even if he has to give up a kingside pawn. I don't know. Anyway, where are we? Where are we here? I should be looking at the other game. It's my fault. Okay, that game was over. Exchange up. Yes, he won that game. King draw off this game. Have we looked at this in a while? My fault. I don't think we've looked at this in a while. Where were we? Oh yes. Okay, this line. Oops. Sorry. Oh, he didn't take on b4. There must have been something wrong with taking on b4. So this position, well, black's alive, right? Barely. Yeah, time is becoming of the essence here. Oh, he can't take time here. He's just got to make a move. Yeah, I mean, rook d1, rook d8 is threatened or something. Just take the bishop or retreat or. Oh, gee, look at all the time. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, he's losing the c pawn. That wasn't. Maybe he didn't have to do that. Okay, so this game, a lot of games are not looking all that good all of a sudden, but the Keaton game's looking better. And do we finish this game? What was going on here? He actually resigned this game, didn't he, after queen e5. Okay, so the match is even so far, and it's just down to the Josh game and the Keaton game. The Josh game's looking bad, and the Keaton game's looking, I think, good. But difficult. Oh, gee, very difficult. Look at that c-pawn. That's a strong c-pawn. What a mess. Oh, but he's ahead in time now. Keaton's ahead in time. It's a great sign. He caught up. He was quite a ways behind all game. So that's good. Tough position. I would think something like rook h6 and then f4. I don't know. Hard to say. Ooh, very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. Whoa, look at this. No, he didn't play c4. How interesting he didn't play c4. No, g6, no. It looks going to have to retreat. It looks... I think white has better chances because the black king's so far away. Do you agree? What's going on here? White has to bring the knight back, the rook back, right? How hard is that? c2 seems completely nuts. You need to bring his king over. I guess you make a race out of it. Oh, gee. Well, now we're back to what could be drawish, I guess. Wow, that was hard to say. Boy, you never have time to figure this stuff out. I bet this was not a draw, but I have no idea who was better. I think white was better. Yeah, this is tough now. I don't see how you win this one. This is not looking good. What's on our chat? What are we doing here? San Diego versus Las Vegas. The Desert Rats. He's got a little bit of a time issue. His opponent should move quickly to try and take advantage of that, but he isn't, so that's good. His opponent's taking quite a bit of time thinking about this. There you go. This is drawn, right? Pretty easily. Nothing's ever easy, but it looks very easy. Does look very easy. Yeah, and then just walk back and win the pawn. Excellent, super. Well done for Keaton. At least he didn't panic in time trouble or anything. He shouldn't have gotten so far behind on the clock. That was a problem. Okay, let's just take this draw. Be a gentleman. There we go. All right, so what does that leave us? That leaves us the one game left with Joshua. Oh, Kadentov already beat Josh. Oh, boy. Okay, so we lost that round 2.5, 1.5, folks. How'd that happen? Well, let me take a quick look at that. Was it a matter of time? Oh, it's probably a matter of time. Yeah, we suffered this round from time, actually, repeatedly. We had issues with time. Yeah, I mean, even here, black's probably right in it, right? I mean, he could have just come back there. There was no really even any big threat. Don't like f6 at all, but still. Oh, he just blundered. Oh, didn't see that. I guess he just hallucinated. Wow, what how that happened? I don't know if it might have been lost, but at least it was, still just a game. It was even material still, even, wasn't it? No, it was one pawn down. Yeah, okay. So it was a problem, but it's sad to lose that way. Oh, maybe that was a trick. Maybe that was one of those, maybe he won't notice things, or he'll pre-move or something. I don't play a lot of Blitz, so I don't know how you do these things. Okay, folks. Not good. We lost by 1 point there, but we're still right in it with a whole round to go, 1 point down. And some good games, some interesting games going on. Boy, the clock is really starting to become an issue, even for them, too. I think that maybe that's what happens as the rounds get further along. You just sink into thought, a little more lengthy thought. Boy, that was a slaughter. Poor Elliott. He really played his worst game. And Keaton had a really good game all game. Something just sort of started getting away from him, slipped away from him there. But I thought he was coming back into it and getting probably a game he could win towards the end. He just didn't have much time left. He spent a long time in that position which ended up with the e6 and taking on d5, that little sequence in there. Maybe there wasn't any way out of that and he just had to play it quicker. Okay. And this game, yeah, he just lost the second pawn and in trouble. I don't know about you guys, you think you would play these things out. I mean, I know it's lost, but how much time do you have? 35 seconds. He is 8 minutes behind, but maybe just play it anyway. Just play some moves and hope for the best. But yeah, I mean, probably going to lose another pawn too. It's pretty bad. I admit it. All right, so what do we have next? Let me just look here. Do I have round 4 listed? Yeah, here's round 4. Okay, so we have, in the next round, Alexei Drev is playing... Wait, I have a different player for Las Vegas. Maybe you can substitute people in from round to round. I have a guy, Mike Zolozny. And then Keaton's playing Elliot Liu. Josh Sheng is playing Zignibia Pakleza. And Craig Hilby is playing Caden Troth. So there seems to be a substitute here that Mike Zolozny is playing instead of Alberto Hernandez, or at least that was what was announced before the round. I didn't even know you could do that, but apparently for part of the match you can play somebody else. You can switch your team, yeah, unless this is a misprint. But we'll see. That'll come up pretty quickly. Yeah, there was I'm looking at the replay now of that game with Josh, and he just thought too long on simple moves. Just took way too long. You know, these games are mainly very highly decided on the clock, so you really, when there's a position that isn't real critical, and several moves will do, sometimes you just have to pull the trigger, I think. Easy to be critical. I couldn't do it, that's for sure. I couldn't play this stuff. It's too fast for me. Okay, so we're still in it. And it's just a 1 point going to the last round. All we need is a 4-0 sweep just to make a decisive victory here. And we'll see what happens. We're just a few minutes to go, I imagine, before the round starts. Hopefully everybody's getting a drink of water, or I've got an apple. So I'll come back in just a second. Thank you. Okay, folks, we're back. Here's this last round, and let's just see. Elliot is playing Keaton. Josh is playing the Grandmaster. And Craig is playing King Trough. I was looking at this, and actually we have on boards 1 and 2, we have an enormous lead in rating. And then on board 4, we're about even. So you'd think San Diego would be a little bit of a favorite in this match with any luck. We need to win by 1 point, one way or another. So here we have in the Craig and Trough game, we have the Najdorf. Trough knows a lot of theory. I don't know if he plays the Najdorf, but I think he does. But regardless of what he plays, I know he's a very theoretical player. That's right. I think Keaton played C3 against him, the Sicilian. Okay, what do we got here? So, what are we doing? Okay, here we go. Josh is playing Mr. Pakleza. And let's go to the beginning of that and see what happened there. That's, there we go. Gert's defense. Oh, sort of a check Benoni, but with Queen B6 instead of Queen A5. Maybe a good fast game idea. Okay, so White just has a nice space advantage. Queen F3. Oh, that's quite an odd move, actually. You think he just gives pieces out? I guess the idea is Queen F3, Knight E2, and play for F5 or something. Okay, so Black defends his pawn, which may not have even been necessary. Pretty risky pawn to take. All right, and let's go to this one. This is the Caden Trough game. The Craig Hilby Caden Trough game with the Najdorf we talked about. And it's gone really quickly. I'm sure they know all this theory. Wow. Okay. Don't know what's going on at all. You'd think White would be better. Look at this control over D5. It looks good to me, but I think Caden Trough pretty much knows what he's doing. Yeah, I don't understand this at all. I think you want to be White in a position like this. Oh, but I see after Bishop takes, there's Queen takes, so it's a temper matter. Okay, so it's sort of a matter of specifics. All right. And what else do we have? We have, let's go to Dreyev's game here. He's black. Oh, look at this. This is strange. Oh, Caro-Kann. Okay. The old Knight H3. I remember that from years ago. Okay. 5. Dreyev is one of the world's leading Caro-Kann players, by the way. He's a major Caro-Kann theoretician. Has been for many, many years. So this is just a game. The issue here is that we're playing somebody, I think this guy's a 2170 player, something like that. So let's hope that we don't, just going to have to outlast him here. And looks like an endgame coming up here. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Okay, anyway, so that's that game. Probably not the easy crush we would have liked, but maybe that's okay. And here we have the Keaton's game again. Let's go back a few minutes. Oh, okay, so he played his standard A6 time and off, and he's had this position many times, Knight F6. Yeah, so he's been in this position quite a few times. I know Keaton has. That doesn't mean it's good for Black, it just means it's a position. It's just a game, pretty well known. I think it's considered okay for Black, but it's also considered okay for White. So we'll see what happens there. That's Elliot Liu. Here's that game. Whoa, things happen quickly here. Let's go back. Boy, that happened fast. Okay, so we had this Knight takes with the big center, Queen F3, Knight H3. So now he's committed to F5, so you can put a knight on F4. Well, that's an interesting choice right there. You think right at this point there'd be an interesting option of playing Knight F4 and castles and just not giving up any ground, just taking over every square on the board. You're only one pawn down with 5 isolated pawns, 4 of which are doubled. So that's an odd. Bishop F5 sort of frees Black's game. It makes me wonder if that's really what you wanted to do. I don't know who's better, but it seems to me Knight F4 there would have been really, really good. Like Black's game went totally wrong there. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Is that right? So in other words, this position right here, if you place a move like Knight F4, stopping F4. Wow. Yeah, I don't understand this at all. Like why you would take your pawn back here, but even then, what's happening? Well, I guess it's just a game now. I don't know who's better here. This is complicated. Still seems like white should be fine, but oh, hey, look at that. He's attacking a rook and the e-pawn, so there may be some good things happening here. Aha, interesting. Yeah, so that king b8 move may not have been so brilliant. Can you just take the e-pawn now? Sure. Interesting. Okay, good. Well, this is nice. Josh has got some initiative, and he's 2 minutes behind. But so what? He's got plenty of time left. He's got 12 minutes left after 18 moves. You can't argue with that. Wow. Is it just another pawn? Yeah, it's just another pawn. So at this point, I wouldn't worry about the b pawn. I'd just play knight e6, and you know, if he takes the b pawn, you got the b file, and you're going to win by force easily, I think. So yeah, just knight e6. Got to be really strong, doesn't it? No, he doesn't play it. I'm not sure why. But anyway, he's 2 pawns up, right? This is amazing. This guy's a grandmaster, right? Black is a grandmaster. Could still play knight e6, maybe. Now it's a little less clear because queen e2 kind of ideas. But still, it's still got to be good, I think. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, and then just swing the queen back to cover all the white squares. Wonderful. Well, this is going great. This could be a big game if White can win this game. Okay, let's see Craig Hilby's game. Sorry, I should be covering these things more fast. Look at that. Okay, so White decides to just play, for a draw here. And did they take the draw? Is it already drawn? It has been drawn. Yes, okay, so that odd decision, but after all, lower player drawing a grandmaster is a good result for San Diego. Interesting. Okay. And here's Josh doing brilliantly. We may save this round after all. And now we have Elliott versus Keaton. And I don't know what's going on. Knight f4 is the threat, apparently. Let's go back a little bit and see what we had there. We ended right about here. Okay, so I guess g3 probably, I assume. Oh, but then there's queen c6. I mean, at least he has to calculate ideas like queen c6. That's not a threat yet, I don't think. No. Probably g3 is safe enough. What else could he play? He could play, it's probably the normal would be g3, I think. But then maybe there's some tricks. Maybe there's some tricks. Well, probably not. Okay, yeah, that Josh was a fantastic game. It's absolutely amazing. He still needs some technique, but he's doing fine, and he's playing quickly too, so that was good too. Okay, so this game's just there. White's trying to figure out what to do about knight f4. Okay, what's happened here? Very little. It still looks extremely good for White, I think. I see nothing wrong with what's going on here. Oh my goodness. Oh. You always think you gotta think about even trying to get some pieces off with rook f8. You're 2 pawns up. But this looks good first. I guess queen f3, e3, but of course you still have real simple play with either c4 or king h1. Yeah, c4 would be a nice way to win. You know, c4 might be a good move anyway, because then the queen comes over to the other side of the board. In the meantime, do you have force wins instead of this? Do you have any sort of rook f8 / rook d8 and get a knight on d8, and there's no way to stop mate on okay, right now the d pawn's hanging first. It's probably worth taking care of that first. So play c4, right? Yeah, I think just play c4. Just a little behind in time, no big deal. So that's good. Okay, and Craig, oh, that was the draw. So we finished that one. I think I'll click that off. And this game, nothing much going on. Let's just see what we've got here. That was this end game with the bishop f4 move. Yeah. Hopefully what we'll see here is just the stronger player winning, grinding down an endgame, even though of course there's no advantage to this endgame. It looks like you have to play rook f8. Are there any other tricks? Oh, he's thinking about taking the f pawn. I don't see any advantage to that. I think he'll just play rook f8. Yeah, white has two bishops. Theoretically, white's probably the one that could be playing for a win if it was even in opposition. But we won't think that way. Okay, Mortal Technique versus Keaton. So he didn't. He played Queen G4 instead. Okay, why not? Make some threats. But now we have ideas of. We still have this Knight F4 idea, and maybe at some point, if the tactics are right, there are things like Bishop D6 and F5 and those kinds of moves. So that'll be an interesting game. Let's see what happens. I'm hearing a lot of clicks. So what board is it that I'm missing here? Is it the Josh board? Oh, it is. Oh, why are they playing so fast? I would think he'd slow down now that he's winning. Take a nice close look and make sure. C4, good move. Knight C8. C5. Wow, bold. That's great. Wonderful, because taking, of course, you take, and you've got knight takes A6 check, as well as after the rook moves. And maybe some other moves, too, comes into it. King A8, C6, why not? Superb. Wow, bold and brave. Okay. So what is he looking at? He's looking at AC7. He's looking at rook F7. Rook F7 is kind of an interesting move. Threatening all kinds of, setting rook takes with all kinds of mates. Is there anything else? He's trying to get just a finish him off move here. What happens on C7? I guess the knight, what, goes to A7 or something? What am I missing? What other ways are there to defend B8? So knight A7. Oh no, then rook F8. So that's the end. That would win, right? Am I crazy? So white doesn't need anything fancy. We can just play C7, I think. Wow. What's that about? Threatening knight D7, but I don't know why you had to do that. Am I wrong? Is there some easy wins there, folks? Or am I just getting tired? It looked like there was just an immediate, instantaneous forced win. Yeah, I think there was just an immediate forced win, but maybe not. It's the last round, exactly, and we need to win 1 point. So let's assume that we win this. Keaton, oh, look at this, a big counterattack. Ooh, wow. Okay, well, first of all, maybe first of all, we should just talk about what happens if he takes it. So, well, let's catch up here. What's going on here? Oh, okay. So if he takes it, now there's Bishop C8 ideas. Bishop F6 is a big threat. G6, excuse me. Bishop G6 is a big threat. So one thing is, the first thing to look at is just if he takes it. I guess if he takes it, there is Bishop G6 right away. And then the question is can you prevent Bishop H7 check? Or do you have to? That looks very dangerous. If Bishop C8, we also have Bishop takes G6, and that looks like it's probably going to be decisive. Knight F6 can't be played. Let me think. Okay. Anybody got any ideas here? Are we looking at Keaton's game? Oh, there's a lot of clicks going on. I better go away for a second. We'll come right back to this. This is amazingly complicated. This is just amazing disaster. He had forced mates all over the place, and it's still playing. I guess he's winning, but gee. Yeah, that'll still win. But now he can double the rooks. Yeah, he didn't go like that. I think he should keep the rook and bring the other rook over to the corner and checkmate it. So just play rook F7, or even rook F3. Yeah, don't take the rooks off. What is this? Does that work? My goodness. Oh, threatening checkmate. Oh, how nice. How nice. Nice finish. Very nice finish. Excellent. Super. Wonderful. Okay. Seems like he didn't do it it seemed like he didn't do it as easily as he should have, but he did win the game, so that's what counts. Okay. And now let's go back to Keaton's game, because that's a huge, big one now. Ah, interesting. Nice. He found a defense. Good. I hope it's good. I hope it works. It seems to work. Wow, it's even better than I thought. This is actually quite fun because if he gets knight f4, he might be winning the material. The tables might be turned here. So, what are the options here for black? Wow. Nice turnout. Looks like Keaton found a good, brilliant, nice, wonderful saving move, I think. Doesn't it? It seemed to everybody? Looks like a really good shot. Just trying to see for sure. I mean, there are things that are a little tricky, like Queen H. Oh no, Queen H3, and if F takes E6, maybe Bishop G6. And then maybe Knight F6, and if White takes it, Queen takes H7, King F8, and Black survives. I guess there's a Rook D3, but that's too late. Wow, I mean, it might work. It might all work for Black. But that's interesting to look at. Queen H3 is at least interesting. Followed by Bishop takes G6, unless I'm missing something. Guys have any ideas? Okay, so the total here now, we've got one draw, we have one win, two wins, right? Because Josh won. And draw. Oh, okay, interesting. I guess we won't have to calculate that one. So, what happened with Drev? I'm confused. How did this happen? Is this still going on? Oh, it is still going on. Okay. So Black to move. So what do we have? We have two pieces for a rook. And even pawns. Wow. I don't know how this happened. No, it's true F7's a problem, but this is a wonderful one. Yeah, right. He just guards that. He's got knight E3 in some lines. Oh, okay. So this match is going much better. Now Andreev has a really good chance of winning. Although that wasn't a certain thing. But anyway, so then if that's true and Andreev is winning, then there's 2.5 plus another half by 3-1, and they would actually win the match by one game. Okay. Right, because San Diego would win by 2 points and only 1 point down to begin with. Yes. But fantastic! What a game. Well, the good thing here now is we're talking about an absolutely incredible technical player, and White has done nothing to mess up the equilibrium. You know, like with the C4 kind of move that might have created some tactical problems. If there's no tactical problems, Black should just probably be winning. It's probably just a winning game. Because White has to change the structure radically. You can't wait around and let Black consolidate. Black consolidates here, he's going to be completely happy. So this is looking very good. You know, barring another meltdown. I guess one idea here is C4, C5, and Rook takes A4. Yeah, I can't believe that's really a major problem though. Because the Rook's going to be stuck over there, and Black's Rook is going to be penetrating by that. Whoa, look at this. So I guess c4, bishop c5 is the idea. Is that right? Yeah. How's our time doing? It's dead even. Amazing. So there you go. Okay, folks. Well, you can't be too optimistic, though. You have to be careful. I mean, Grave did fall for that simple elementary little trick last round. So he's not young. He's like the rest of us. He's getting a little older, so you can't be sure. But obviously, we're the favorites now because the position is very good for black, and we have a great player playing. So it looks pretty good. Those rooks are going to start stepping all over each other in a second. It looks like. Grave should probably make sure he doesn't get behind on time. That's probably the only real danger here. Let's try to figure out exactly how to coordinate. Yes, is the broadcast going? Yes, we took a little break there, just a second, because we got to the very last game, and I was just saying that the only issue here is perhaps Grave's age, because he's clearly a much better player, and he's got a probably winning position. It's a material advantage with excellently. This simply should be a win, but he did blunder in the last round, and so he has to be a little careful. But the nice thing now is that his opponent's taking a little time, and that helps. It means suddenly he's almost a minute ahead, and that's a relief. There we go. So maybe he's planning to bring the king to d7 and then the other knight over? No, probably not. Okay, so how's he reorganizing here, everybody? Probably everybody's just too tired to figure it out at this point. Yeah, maybe that knight will go to c7 to support, to block it, to cover the e5 squares. Just guessing. Aha, a whole minute lead. The clock was so critical last round. This round, not quite so much. So Keaton, are you listening? Because tell us what was going on in the last position. Keaton, tell us, give us on the chat. Were you winning, losing, drawing? What's going on? Could he continue to give up the rook with queen h3, and then if takes bishop g6 or something, or was that just too crazy? Keaton, say something. Unclear. It seemed like if he had to take the queens off, which he might have to, it would be better for you. But I was wondering about this queen h3 move. It looks like it shouldn't work, but I wasn't absolutely positive because of this bishop g6 idea. He doesn't want to talk about it. Oh, the round 3 thing. Yeah, just when you got to a good position. But you were in time trouble, Keaton. You didn't handle your time as well as usual. Right? That was really the problem in that game, I thought. You took a long time in the middle game. Remember when he got played as e6 and e takes d5 and all that? Around in that time period, you were way ahead on the clock, and then you burned it all up. I don't remember that. That was an issue. But in general, you played very well the whole round. I thought you really played well. Craig, for some reason, hasn't won every game. I don't know what's wrong with him. and Alexei actually blundered, which is really funny. A very standard kind of childish combination, beginner's combination blunder. I don't know if you saw it, but it was quite funny because we know he's one of the great players of our for a whole generation. It just shows that everybody falls for some things. Oh, I like it now. Look at this. He's positionally, he's doing wonderfully now. Look at that bishop on a2. Look at, oh boy, talk about handling this well. Big lead in time. That's good too, right, Keaton? Yeah, excellent. Wow. I can't believe he didn't play bishop b1 a long time ago. Okay, folks, what do we got here? Blocking on c5, didn't see what g7, knight g6. I saw knight d7, 1. Oh, yeah. Josh, what a great game you played. It was a fantastic game. Yeah. Yeah, there were quite a few easier wins towards the end, but that's just what happens, right? I mean, I'd probably be dropping queens in the pressure. Yeah, you did terrific. It was a great game. Yeah, it was funny. That's the only time. You slipped up a little at the end. Okay, what's going on here? Oh. Wow, that king could get into White's king could get in big trouble after rook takes h2, right? So king d6, I assume. Yeah, this rook b2 move is going to win heavy material. Maybe even king b8. Maybe king d8, because then it's all forced, right? King d8 takes and rook takes h2. I think it's winning a piece over in the corner there, right? Because the rook b2 check. Maybe not. Maybe c5. Okay, that's cool. Let's stop c5. Wow. I hope he takes on f7. And this game will be over quickly. Hey, looks like the San Diego Surfers did it again. Amazing, just barely by 1 point, but that's good enough. 2 match wins to none, in spite of that disastrous second round. That was a clock round. The clock got in the way. How the heck is he going to defend against that move? This king takes, right? Oh, we won. And he has 2 minutes and 56 seconds left. Keaton, well done. You got the team going. Team captain deserves extra credit. Except you have to buy everybody beers. Typical. I'm so tired I can't see anything. So what if you check and play rook b4? Where's the maid? Maybe some kind of b5 move. Oh yeah, knight. I was just thinking the knight move might work too. Yeah, there we go. Oh, 13 seconds left to save this position. I don't know. I don't think Magnus Carlsen could save this one. Bishop C1? Yeah. And mate. Yay! Hey folks, congratulations. Well done. Yep, Keaton's got to buy all the beers. That's it. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, congrats, guys. I think I'm going to take off. I'm starting to lose steam anyway. This last round was sort of the wall, hit the wall here. And congratulations, a great finish too, because it's always hard to finish well. So well done, everybody. I'm going to turn off the stream now, unless someone has a request or wants to make a comment. Maybe something about next week, or if you have some suggestions. Kyron and I are going to try and work it away so we can do a mutual commentary, which of course would be so much more fun. And we'd probably be able to see more too. Oh, I think Keaton should drink a lot. He needs a lot. He obviously needs a lot. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all your good comments, keeping me honest when I was just missing obvious things. So that's the most important thing. And as I say, I think Kyron will be on with me next week. It sounds like we're going to try and do that anyway with a co-commentary, which should be a lot livelier and easier to do because you don't have to keep track of as many things at once. I think in a way we'll be able to make more jokes and notice more things going on. We'll have the boards on another computer up that we can watch, so we can see what's happening without having to switch constantly. So that should be a lot of fun, folks. Okay, bye everybody. I'm going to close off the stream unless someone has a request or a question. I'm about to sign off here. Thank you, Kyron. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.